orange and blue sunset and mile high here in Broncos country. Let's get ready to ride. Russ and the rest are gonna light up the sky. We'll break it down after the game with the guys. Hometown heroes with their own sports bar. The best coverage in Denver, don't go too far. Just turn on DNVR. We are
Oh, DNVR Broncos live. Chat's already lit. You love to see it.
It is.
And no one in the chat has said presenting sponsor, DraftKings Sportsbook. You guys know, though, and I also know.
Nice.
So that's good for me.
There's also nobody calling us out for the delayed game. We're on like an 8-show late to start streak, and nobody said
that
anything.
is not true.
It's been called out.
Yes.
Oh,
It's been called out multiple
Yesterday
times.
it was called out.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
He means today.
Today it has not, but every other day it
Oh
has.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is like we have officially become just late every day.
Jared said he did today.
It gets cut off.
It gets cut off.
He probably came in right at 4 o'clock or
Wow,
3 o'clock.
Hank all confident.
Wow. No.
No.
Delay of game
No.
once again. Maybe we just need to move. I have a theory of how we can fix this. Anyways, we'll talk about that later.
Fix what?
The delay of games.
How?
I'm
Oh,
curious. Yeah.
We're
Moving
here.
your bet show?
We just moved
Yeah,
bets from 2:15 to 2.
There we
Yeah.
go.
Oh.
It's done. It's done.
There we go.
But there's a lot of people who watch bets and then come straight to here. So
It is
thanks
true.
to you guys.
It is true. Okay. Someone in the comments asked, who sings the song? Zach Stevens. Everyone knows that.
Thank
Yes,
you,
it
of
was
course.
Zach
Yep. And I'm a proud member of Pleasure Horse.
Yes. I legitimately, there's like multiple Reddit threads of like, wait, so is Zach the one who sings the Broncos
That is
intro?
incredible.
Also, like Zach Stevens show choir superstar, right?
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
So the theories just grow deeper.
Yeah, I have been to China and Europe for singing.
Wow.
Yeah.
I've never
Wow.
been to either of those places for anything.
It's about to change.
That is
It
about
is.
to change.
1
Cannot wait to see you guys in London. Just a reminder that we are going to have some more informal meetups in the week leading up to our big series of events from Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So no matter what, we want to run into you guys while we're out there. If you live there, if you're going there, just make sure you're staying tuned to all of our socials. Stay in tune. Hit us up. Like straight up, you hit me up on Wednesday night and say, what are you guys doing tonight? I'll be like, yeah, we're going this place. We're
Also,
drinking.
send us recommendations for what we should try, food, restaurants,
Oh,
places to go.
I wanted to say this yesterday and I forgot to, but I'm so glad I was just reminded of this. So you know how European soccer teams, they have like chants, not just for like the team, but every player has like a song associated with them. Essentially, they'll take like a famous song and just change the words of the song to just the player's name, and they'll
Okay.
chant. I want some of our European listeners to make those for the Broncos.
Oh.
So like, yeah, like in what's the show? Ted Lasso. They do the one for Roy Kent. It's like, he's here, he's there, he's every effing where. Roy Kent, Roy Kent. I was just thinking you could do that instead of Roy Kent. You could just do Josie, Josie.
Wow.
So yeah.
You think Josie's the one that they're making songs of?
Well, everyone gets a song.
Everyone.
Yeah.
All
Do
53?
Russell.
No,
All
like all
22?
22. All 11 do it on a soccer pitch.
If we're doing 22,
Yeah.
we gotta expand it to at least 25 because we got the AFC Special Teams Player of the Week on
Let's
this
go.
team, baby. Corliss Waitman.
Corliss.
He punts it very far. Hopefully, not too much.
That's good.
Thank you.
That
Thank
is
you.
very
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
That is
So
very
one's
good.
down.
So there we go. We got one in the books.
No, we got two. We got Josie down too.
Oh yeah,
Yep,
we got Josie.
Wow.
We and like I'm gonna be in the stands with the people, so I'll lead the songs.
Oh, do we think that game? Because none of us have been to an international NFL game. Do we think that game's going to be rowdy and take on the experience of a soccer game?
No,
Yeah, I
or
was
at
gonna
least
say no as well.
not before I go in there and change things.
Oh, there we go.
wow.
I'm bringing
There we go.
flares, all the stuff.
So you will not be going in, is what you're saying.
No, I'm going
Yeah,
in. I'm going in. Flares, signs, flags. We're gonna have a tifo, I believe they call it.
Oh.
So you like unravel like the
Oh,
giant
yep,
banner.
yep.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, we're going all in.
I love it.
Yeah, scoring. Whenever they score, everyone's just like throw beers on
Oh,
the field.
good,
Oh, wow.
good. Have
gonna
this
be
game
sick.
never finish.
It's gonna be sick. So, anyways, send us your songs, or
Love
at least like get the ball rolling.
Yeah,
you
start
know,
thinking.
I can usually
Start brewing.
help with these things at least.
Typically, you need about a month to brew. You got a month.
There we go. Let's start brewing. Okay, a lot of little tidbits around the league and around the Broncos today. So what better way to learn than toss it over to Zach in sports?
Well, today, about 48 hours after Eli Manning took a
this is good.
shot
This is good stuff.
at Russell Wilson, although maybe it was a fair gift to Corliss Waitman, the AFC Special Teams Player of the Week. Well, Eli Manning on the Manning Cast said that was poking at Russell and said that maybe the $235 million contract should have gone to Corliss Waitman instead of Russell Wilson. Russ was asked about that today, and here is his answer.
You talking about Chad Powers? Yeah, Chad Powers, I'm 3-0 against Chad Powers. Listen, I think that, it's part of the game, man. We just just got to have fun, and everything else. I have a lot of respect for Peyton and Eli and those guys. Those guys, I've always looked up to those guys, so I'm not stressed about it.
One more. Well, hold on. Keep letting it play. Who is that?
Chad Powers, I'm 3-0 against Chad Powers.
It's the person that asked the question.
Listen, I think
I
that,
didn't hear it. Dang.
But it was Sean Keeler with the post. And so, of course, if you're the one that asks the question...
Full on belly laugh for that one.
Yep. You got to be the one with the loudest, most vocal response.
And by the way, that was not even after the punchline.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't.
When he started talking.
That means very true.
Chad Powers is hilarious. You just say his name, everybody laughs.
Yeah, he said,
Chad Powers?
and you couldn't really hear it at first,
Full
but he
on.
said, when asked about Eli, he said, "You talking about Chad Powers?"
Yeah, and then Sean Keeler just lost it. Funniest thing he's heard in years.
It's Chad Powers. It's hilarious.
But what a great comeback.
Yes, honestly, perfect. We giving assists out here. Patrick Smythe assist.
I asked him after, and he said that I had nothing to do with that one. So
Wow.
we'll know. We don't know. We know Patrick's a pretty humble guy, so I don't know.
I'm giving him an assist.
Fair.
At least a hockey assist.
Yeah, they bounced it around in the room before.
A little brainstorm. Oh God, I love that stuff. Kind of miss it.
Boy, speaking of Russ, that was obviously a very playful one. Russ, like he said after, is good friends with Eli and Peyton, and it's all in good fun. But Russ, he has just been a punching bag for the nation. I mean, Nathaniel Hackett has been for what he's on the field, but Russ has been for ever since he did the Let's Ride, and people just love to pick on him, including, the Subway video that came out, which actually I think
Is old.
Is like 6 months old. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so weird how that happens because I had never seen it.
No, I thought it was brand new.
Yep, and I mean, Henry, I know you had never seen it.
Some guy just decided to post it, and then it took off on the internet.
Yeah, and
But-
it's all about the moment, right? Because right now, dunking on
Yeah.
Russell Wilson is the
Yep.
thing.
Yep.
So that guy, whoever posted that, was a genius.
Yep.
Although he ended up deleting the tweet. I don't know why. Maybe he was like, no free ads.
People got a hold of it though.
Yeah, exactly. It had already resurfaced. Now it's everywhere. Did you see my remix?
No, I did not.
Oh, you didn't see? I sent it in the chat last night.
Oh, yeah. With the ingredients.
Yes.
Yes. Oh,
You want to play?
Yeah, we could play it. We're in
Hey,
a...
you want to split this Subway sandwich?
this
It is my
Forget.
signature sandwich.
is brutal.
It's called the Danger Witch, and it's dangerously good. Be careful, though. Spicy. Spicy. Hey,
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
So once he's
Follow
on a
us on
spicy,
TikTok.
I got excited because
Yeah.
I love everything spicy.
Yeah.
For example, I had an egg sandwich today. Put some ghost pepper hot sauce on it.
You are just like my fiance.
Oh wow.
That's why he likes me so much.
It's true.
I was like, ooh, spicy. Like, at least expecting jalapenos, because I know they have those there, and I got that on my sandwich.
Yeah.
But I was like, maybe there's like a special spicy sauce on there or something. And I looked through that, and I was like, it took me 3 times reading the ingredients list before I was like,
What is
the spicy part? Mustard?
Yeah, it's a tough look, but to back him up, I've had some spicy banana peppers before. I have ones that make me get a little dangerous.
Oh my
Make a little
god.
forehead sweat.
Oh, that was funny. And honestly, some people are like way over the top in like they're hating on Russ for this stuff. Like I think it's fun to be, to like laugh about it and just be like, oh, that's Russ. People are like, I can't even stand this guy being my quarterback. Like, he's such an idiot. It's like, all right, let's dial it back a few notches.
Just when I see things like that, I'm like, I'm happy he's getting the bag right now.
Yeah,
Because you know Subway
Yep.
is giving him back. Unfortunately, though, none of us knew about it before yesterday.
It's probably already gone.
It is gone. You
Oh
can't
my-
get it at Subway now.
If they're smart, they bring it back
Yeah.
right now.
Yep, you do.
But they probably have to renew the contract with Russ.
and then
Yeah.
pay him more back.
And he wasn't the only athlete either.
Right.
It was like they had the vault, which
Right,
I don't
it
know
was
what's in there
Marshawn.
now. Yeah.
Russ and Trevor Lawrence.
It's a random 3.
And I want to say I saw the Trevor Lawrence commercial several times on TV and never the Russ.
Well, did you see it, Ryan?
Yeah.
Probably a reason.
Let me ask you guys this, because several people said this in my mentions. It actually happened to me as well. I think Henry agreed. It made me want Subway.
Oh.
Yeah. I settled for a Walmart sandwich, but it made me want Subway.
Marissa, after watching the TikTok so much, got Subway today for lunch.
So it worked.
It did work.
Yeah. I could go for Subway.
Subway is super underrated, I think. And not in a way that it's like really good, but everyone talks about it like it's terrible.
Yeah.
When it's just a sandwich. If
It's
you just
like-
want a sandwich, it's a great place to go. Like if
It's
you're
just
like, there's a million places to get a better sandwich,
Right.
but it's not like it's below the grade of a sandwich you would just make at your house.
Yeah, I think it is. I think everything in it has about half as much flavor as you expect. I don't know how they do it, but it's like if you eat a piece of lettuce, that's a bad example. They don't have flavor anyway.
You have
But like
to
a
get
pickle.
I
it's
know
like-
you don't do this, but like you have to get the things at the end. That's what make the flavor.
Like,
Like
what?
the seasonings?
Like Chipotle mayo.
Like the
or-
banana peppers.
Yeah, you could do banana peppers. I go black olives, jalapenos,
Yo,
That's a lot of free
hot sauce,
advertising.
It is.
and honey mustard.
That's not flavor. That's just spicy.
So what are you calling it?
What do I call that?
Yeah, what are you calling your sauce sub?
Wait, is there any like meat or anything on it?
No, it's just sauce.
Just sauce.
yeah. Instead
When
of
I-
dipping the bread into something, you just put the dip in the bread.
When I ever? I think
Wow.
I've told you guys this story before, but when I was in college, there was a famous bagel shop down the street from me.
No free advertising for them, but you're gonna give Subway all this free
Subway,
advertising?
Fine. Moe's Bagels is down the
Oh,
street
I love
from me.
Moe's.
Moe's is
Go to
great.
Moe's.
Yes.
Support them. Support
Yeah,
local.
support them over Subway.
Fair enough. They're just more likely to advertise on this show than Subway.
Fair.
So I would go there, several times a week, and I was just like, I'm gonna act like I have a bagel named after me, and just do it every time I go there, and hopefully if I do it enough, they'll just start knowing what I talk about when I order. So it was a jalapeno bagel, jalapeno cream cheese. I would walk out and be
great.
like, can I get the Flamin' RK? And they would just be like, what? I'm like, oh, it's a jalapeno bagel, jalapeno cream cheese.
Oh my
I
God.
tried it like, I don't know, 8 times. It was just like a funny bit I was
Yeah.
doing with my friends, and it didn't work.
Yeah.
But that's what my Subway sandwich is named.
Oh, it's the Flamin' Arcade. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Such a dad move.
Yeah.
I can't imagine.
I don't feel like dads
I
are
don't-
that clever. If it
They
worked,
think
that
they
would.
are.
That's exactly the level of clever. Yeah.
If that worked, it would have been legendary.
Okay,
Yeah, it
so.
would-
Jared
been?
says he would rather eat a boiled shoe.
Oh.
So
Then what? Subway?
I think the Flamin' Arcade.
Then no, then Subway. He said, I hate the
okay,
smell of
okay.
Subway. I hate
the
Subway.
smell is amazing. It smells like freshly cooked bread.
Okay,
Yeah, I
smells
haven't had
bad.
Subway
We should
in
move-
15 years.
All right.
Stop giving them so much free advertising.
I'm sorry. It's good. Anyone who denies it just doesn't like sandwiches.
A lot of people saying
Wow.
that they had Subway today because of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look, advertising works. So Moe's, Subway.
Yes.
If we see it works.
Pick it up.
Yep.
Liquid
Come
Pick
here.
it up. Yep. This is
Liquid
actually
death.
delicious. I haven't. It's the first time I've had this flavor.
Severed lime.
Severed lime.
Yeah.
Wow.
This slaps.
Yeah.
Only problem with the whole thing is that it's green and gold.
Ah,
It
good
is.
colors. Yeah, let's take a picture of you rocking that.
I'm not rocking it.
Looked like he was rocking it pretty
He was
hard.
rocking it. Yeah.
Anyways, delicious actually. Okay. What else?
Someone that's not practicing
There
today.
we go.
Actually,
Back on track.
bad news on the injury front. DJ Jones in the concussion protocol. No surprise that he's not out there. Don't have an update. Won't really know until maybe we'll get a hint tomorrow if he's out there on the field. But a guy that popped up today on the injury report, Dalton Reisner. Ankle injury.
F.
Not practicing day to day. He did hurt it in the game and continued to play. So that could be some encouraging news, but
Shoot it up.
and then one more thing though. One more thing with that. When talking about all these injuries, and I can read the other injuries in just a second, Nathaniel Hackett did say he takes into consideration that the Broncos turn around and play a Thursday game right after Sunday. So they've been really cautious with guys. Nathaniel Hackett essentially said they're going to be extra cautious with guys.
All right, fine. I guess the logic checks out. I was gonna say I'd much rather beat the Raiders than beat the Colts,
Completely agree.
but
That's not how it works.
the Colts game is after it. So
Yeah.
Right.
so you obviously go towards the game with more time. You're like, okay, if we rest him for this game, we can get him for the next one, rather than getting him at 60% for this one and not having him for the next one.
Right. So that's bad news on the offensive line. Even worse news on the offensive line. Billy Turner, who has practiced, nearly been a full participant the past 2 weeks. I think he was limited one day last week. He is still trying to get over the hump, is how Nathaniel Hackett described it. And to me, when I heard that, I'm not counting on him until the bye week. Now, I think he'll probably play before the bye week, but I'm not going to count on him before the bye week. So
No.
you better get used to Cam Fleming at right tackle.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm not gonna necessarily get used to it. It's not something I want to get used to, but it's happening. I noticed this at the game on Sunday. Down there on the sidelines. I assume Billy probably got a workout in before. He had this much ice, and if you're listening on the podcast, it's just a foot of ice wrapped around his knee with 12 wraps around it, limping around, and I was just like, oh, he's not playing anytime soon.
No, and I kid you not, when he's not wearing ice and when he is practicing or limited practice, he's wearing the thickest sleeves on both of his legs, covered with braces on both of his legs. I mean, he literally looks like a robot.
Yeah, it's rough.
He does.
And I don't expect to see him anytime soon.
No, I do think when you just look at the offensive line overall, though, if you lose Reisner, which hopefully you don't, hopefully he's good to go, but get Miners right back, I think that's still an upgrade this week compared to last week. And if you get Reisner and Miners, then it's definitely an upgrade. And then as soon as you get Billy Turner back, that should be an upgrade too, although it will be... And Cam Fleming's still been above average to good as a run blocker. It's just as a pass blocker where he's making mistakes. Billy Turner in his career has been the exact opposite. He's been solid in pass protections, but hasn't provided all that much in the running game. So that'll kind of be interesting to see just how that plays out when Billy Turner gets back, how much of an upgrade he is. But I do think that if you just get Quinn Miners back, this line's going to be fine regardless.
Yeah, this week is when I'm most scared about that pass protection because the Raiders, I'm not scared of the Raiders defense at all, except for their two outside guys. And now Chandler Jones, he hasn't had a sack in pretty much a year, essentially.
Probably almost a calendar year.
Almost. Max Crosby, he does have 2 sacks on the season so far, and he's really good.
Yeah, I think did he get them both against the Cardinals or one in the last 2 weeks? I watched both games today. I'm trying to remember.
I don't remember. But those guys, if Cam Fleming isn't good, that's how the Raiders can win this game.
Yeah, and I watched the last 2 Raiders games this morning, and the biggest difference and this isn't groundbreaking, but the biggest difference in when they were beating the Cardinals and when the Cardinals came back was on one side, the Cardinals getting pass rush. On the other side, the Cardinals protecting Kyler Murray. And the same thing I felt like happened in the Tennessee game. Like when Tennessee was scoring, it was because they were giving Tannehill time. And when they were stopping the Raiders, because they were forcing Derek Carr to heat up a little bit. And it's like, well, that's essentially most football games.
Right.
But it was especially evident in those two games that I watched that, like, the trenches, that's where this game's going to be won.
Yep, exactly. And so that's why I think it's crucial to have the best offensive line out there. And someone's asking if Quinn Meinerz will be back. Today, Quinn Meinerz, I'm pulling up his status. He did practice on a limited basis, so that was at least encouraging.
Yep.
On the right track. Other guys that did not practice, Darius Phillips, Tyree Cleveland, Jonathan Cooper, Randy Gregory. I don't expect that's anything new, just his normal maintenance of Wednesday off. Dalton Reisner and DJ Jones.
Any news on DJ?
No news. Hopefully we'll find out a little bit tomorrow.
All right.
And then one more little note from today. Did you guys catch after the game how Russell Wilson said he has a State of the Union with the team every Tuesday?
Yeah, State of the Union once a year.
Yeah, no, it's every Tuesday for Russell Wilson. And what he does is he brings all of the offensive guys in for a player-led meeting, a.k.a. a Russell Wilson-led meeting, on their day off on Tuesday. It's voluntary, but I think if you have Russell Wilson, Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, those type of quarterbacks leading your team, it's not voluntary. And what they do is they start breaking down the film of their opponent that's coming up, try to get little tips for guys to start getting ready for the week before they even start prepping with the coaches on Wednesday.
It's interesting. It's funny to think about if this were to happen in the real world.
Right.
Like, let's just say it's like a banking job, standard Monday to Friday, and the manager was like, hey, just so you guys know, state of the company tomorrow, 8 a.m. on Saturday.
Yeah.
Like, if that got wind on social media, people would lose their minds.
Yep. Oh, and by the way, it's every Saturday after that.
Yes, exactly. But football's different, and I don't know. It's someone like Russell Wilson, these insane competitors want to get any and every advantage that they can get. So in his mind, it's like, if everyone else is having an off day today and we can just get this much better, it gives us a better chance to win on Sunday. It gives a better chance to win the Super Bowl.
From a fan's perspective, in an outside perspective, I absolutely love it. I think fans should love this. The guy's grinding even harder. What do we know? Russell Wilson's a grinder. Now his teammates are buying into it or feeling forced like they have to buy into it. But whatever, you are getting a little advantage, like you said, Ryan. But from a just grinding perspective, not for this year, but for years down the road, because Russ said he's been doing this since he was a rookie. That can grind on players a lot, which is like, I love it, but also I'm like, oh man, I get a little worried about what this is going to do years down the line, because Tuesday is their only day off. They have walkthrough on Saturday, the game on Sunday, film review on Monday, day off Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday are normal practices.
Yep.
Tuesday's their only day off, and they're coming in because Russ wants them to, which is great.
How many are coming in?
Did not find that out, but he said it's voluntary.
All right. I mean, I would guess the only people who feel like they absolutely have to be there are the offensive line and the wide receivers.
Yeah, but I bet especially first year round, everyone's there.
And that is a good thing.
It is a good thing, especially for this coming week, especially for this season.
What I will say, and this is the hard truth, Russ has to play better to be able to get away with this long term. Like, as soon as the team doesn't feel like you are the main catalyst and wins, you just don't have the same, control over, what's going on.
Yeah, 100%.
So I appreciate it, and I understand the competitive nature and where it comes from, but you have to do better than the last 2 weeks specifically, or else people are going to start rolling their eyes.
Yeah, it's a good point. And Jared says players will be pissed only if the W's don't come.
Yep.
But if the W's don't come, that's not when you take your foot off the gas. That's when they're going to press even more, potentially.
Right. It's the craziest thing about football, though, is 2 hours, 2.5 hours decides the entire next week of how everyone feels, from fans
Really
to coaches to players to coaches and players' wives, like family. It's just the whole city is different. And if you start losing, and then you're asking these guys to come in on their day off, like sometimes, like there is times where you just need to get away.
Yeah.
And again, if you're not playing well, guys are going to roll their eyes, and maybe the attendance will go down.
Oof, I could see it happening, and you just hope that it doesn't get to that point.
Yeah, I mean, you just hope not. They'll keep showing up until they hate it, I guess. I don't know.
One more note from around the division. Joey Bosa, IR.
Broncos will not face him at least once this season.
It is unbelievable over there.
I guess I'm just going to be like my friend who, with Tom Brady, said that he's always going to. At some point, the Chargers are not going to do this. At some point, right? No? Yeah? No?
I don't know, man. They've had positive quarterback play for almost the entirety of the time they've been in San Diego, and then obviously to Los Angeles, and never done anything meaningful.
It's crazy, and obviously great news for the Broncos that they're falling apart. It's just hard to wrap your mind around.
Yep.
Just that, wow, it really is happening again. They're just losing everyone.
Yep.
And if they're doing the right thing, in my mind, they wouldn't play Justin Herbert this week.
I feel like you have to, though. You can't take him out. Like, you need the win. Exactly. And, like, Ribs, you don't help Ribs, I feel like, by not playing.
You do.
Really? Because, like, an ankle, you totally would. But I feel like Ribs are just pain. They kind of heal on their own.
But that's the thing, is you keep
them.
re-aggravating the pain, so you go backwards in the healing process.
I don't know. I think with an ankle for sure. I'm not sure about Ribs, though.
Now you don't have your star tackle to protect him.
Yeah.
I mean, it's tough. The Houston Texans, if they're going to get a win, this week may be it.
I guess I'll just put it this way. If Justin Herbert is in pain is your body's way of telling you, don't do this.
Right,
it's football, though.
Right.
They're all in pain. They're being told constantly,
but I'm
don't
just saying,
play
like,
football.
the reason why your ankle hurts when it's sprained is because your body's saying, like, hey, don't put pressure here.
Yep.
I'm trying to heal this right now.
Yeah.
So that's the same thing that's going to happen with his ribs.
And he will get hit again.
Of course.
Oh, yeah. But, like, you're not going to, like, dislodge the rib again,
No,
you know?
no. But he's just not going to get better. And so
I think he would. I don't know. I'm not the rib expert, but I'm pretty sure. Because, like, joints and stuff, those are things that need to actually rest to heal. Your rib is always rested.
Yeah.
Until you break it again.
I don't know. I'm
pretty sure. I'm pretty sure.
Don't know.
Let us know if we have any rib experts.
Yeah, if there's 8 doctors in
In
there.
the comments. Before we move on, I want to remind you guys to come check us out at the DNVR bar. Obviously open Monday through Sunday. So much great food down there. I could go for some of those fried pickles right now. But there's so many great options on the new menu. You got to come check it out. Get yourself some Avalanche nachos, which there's an avalanche of cheese that cascades down the chips when you order it. It's just it's a beautiful thing of beauty.
That's what my mom said she's most excited to try.
Yep.
The avalanche.
They slap.
That was the first thing I had.
Also,
That
I didn't even have to
delicious.
order extra jalapenos. Now, you could order less jalapenos if you don't want them. But a lot of times I have to be like, hey, can we throw a couple more jalapenos on here? What do we
Less
got?
what?
3
What are those?
jalapenos.
What
Yeah,
are
I'm
those?
not sure.
I've never heard of those before.
I know
Jalapenos.
you guys aren't cultured, but that's how the word is said. Anyways,
Don't make sure not to put banana peppers on. It'll get too spicy.
that wouldn't even be good.
Banana peppers can go on anything.
Oh, here we go.
Maybe outside ice cream, but
I would rather have... No.
go there.
Can't even lie about that. I bet you like a ice cream... You know how like people do weird things like pickle juice ice cream?
Yeah,
I had never
wouldn't do
heard
it.
of that.
Yeah, I've never
No.
heard of pickle juice ice cream.
There's some weird stuff going on.
There
out
is some weird stuff.
Head
I've
down
heard
to
pistachio.
Rhino. It's
Oh
the
man,
art
yes,
district. They've got
yes.
some weird ice cream
Yes,
down
they
there.
do.
I saw kale ice cream in there. I was
No
like, what are we doing here?
way.
Let's pick a side. Are you a
Oh
kale
my
person or are you an ice cream
gosh.
person?
Oh no.
Anyways, we don't have any of that garbage around here.
No,
Just the
we
good
do not.
stuff. So come check that out. Check us out for the tailgate against the Colts next week. Should be a good one. We love a night tailgate. Leave work a little early. Come party with us. And, of course, check out all of our formal events that we have set up for London.
And speaking of good stuff, check out Sports Fan when you're stopping by our tailgates, because we do it right in the parking lot of Sports Fan. So you can just pop in and they have really cool merchandise. Heck, if you want to get a cool Broncos thing to wear to the game on before Thursday, just show up with an undershirt, go in there, get your jersey or really cool gear before the game. But if you can't make it to one of our tailgates, they have 4 locations in Denver, 1 in Park Meadows Mall, 2 on the 16th Street Mall, and the one that we're talking about at our tailgate, which is 18th and Federal. They have so many exclusive, different, unique things, which is what sets them apart. So make sure to check out Sports Fan for all your gear. Or for some of your gear, because we got some gear too.
We should sell our gear there.
We do.
Yeah.
That's how we started our relationship with them.
Well, there we go. That's a good idea. So get all your sports gear there, because even ours is. Pins and Aces. They're a golf clothes company, but also you can just wear them wherever because they're just clothes. It's like polos and pants
Super
and shorts
comfy.
and stuff.
So get some of your gear here too.
Oh,
Yeah,
shit.
yeah.
Yep, some gear there too. So much gear. It's really cool stuff. I shouldn't say meant for young people. It's just that young people wear it a lot more because it's like patterns and like they'll have like raccoons all over the shirt or something like that. It's really
get into
cool,
that.
awesome golf stuff though. Like whoever your most stylish golf friend is probably has some pins and aces.
Who's your most stylish girlfriend?
I mean, it's probably like Spencer.
Probably Spencer.
Like
I thought
He
you
wears.
said-
the thing
He's
is-
literally like sponsored. Like all he wears is
I know.
pins and aces.
I thought Henry said your most stylish girlfriend, and I said,
Oh.
"Whoa, what are we talking about here, Henry?"
Yeah.
And then I thought you said, "Who's your most stylish girlfriend?"
Wow.
Yeah.
Look at
Yeah.
these crazy.
Oh, those are awesome.
Oh, that
It's a
Colorado
lot.
one that's
right up
cycling
my
through.
alley.
I will
There
say,
it is.
like, be responsible with your outfits. Like, you see a bunch of guys where it's like, oh, I have this bright green shirt and this dark orange pair of pants.
See, that's
and
the
it's
thing.
like,
If
oh
you're
my
going-
god.
Love it.
If you're going aggressive with the shirt pattern, gotta go conservative with the pants.
Exactly.
In fact, I was talking to the owner of Pins and Aces about
Mm-hmm.
this, and he was like, "Yeah, I think we're gonna start offering like pants and shorts and that sort of stuff for golf."
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, "Oh, are you gonna go with like the crazy patterns?" He's like, "No, it's gonna be made to like go with our shirts, so they're gonna be
Right.
solid."
The
There's some-
Colorado one
this guy
is
gets it.
really cool.
Colorado high country right there.
Yeah,
That's the
that
thing
slaps.
of beauty.
These people on the golf course don't always. It's like the least stylish group of people, but they have the most stylish pieces of clothing. Like there's like, oh, look at all this that I found. Like they couldn't find that stuff anywhere else, and they just throw it all together. But Pins and Aces, it gives you all of the tools. You just have to use them responsibly. It's all obviously really cool stuff. And if you go over to pinsandaces.com, use the code DMVR, you'll get 15% off your first order. You'll get free shipping. That's at pinsandaces.com with the code DMVR.
Guys, it's Raiders week.
Let's go.
Raiders week. The Broncos have not beat the Las Vegas Raiders in Las Vegas / Oakland since Peyton Manning was a quarterback.
Wow.
But the Las Vegas Raiders, the teams that they have lost to this year, those are the only wins that those teams have.
Oof.
So the teams that the Raiders have lost to have lost to every other team they've played.
Wow.
Yes. But
bad.
the Raiders have only lost by an average of 5 points per game. So they're kind of in every game. They're not horrible, but they are not a good team right now. And they have a lot of work to do in order to make their season back. But the Broncos can probably end that this week.
Yep.
And here's how they do it. Let's dump into our whiteboard Wednesday to break down the keys to victory.
Real quick, you know what? The last Broncos team to win at the Raiders and the next Broncos team to win at the Raiders have in common?
Hall of Fame quarterback?
Just a quarterback.
A quarterback.
So there's a lot of stats out there of like since Peyton Manning. There's a reason those exist. It's because the Broncos haven't had a quarterback.
Broncos haven't beat the Chiefs, period, since Peyton Manning.
Yep.
Haven't beat the Raiders in Las Vegas since Peyton Manning. Broncos have done some things to the Chargers without Peyton Manning.
Shocking.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, let's go into the whiteboard, see what we have this week. And we have less this week because last week it took us about an hour to go through it.
It's very true.
Aw.
First one, be a champ on offense.
A champ, huh?
What number did champ wear?
24.
If you hit 24, you're going to win. If you hit 24, you're going to win.
Love
And
that rule.
every single team that's played the Raiders has hit 24. In fact, 2 teams only got 24 points. Another team got 29 points. I believe that was the Cardinals who got 29. Beat the Raiders. The Raiders, their parts are a lot better than their sum right now. So when you break it down, and when we break it down today and tomorrow, it is kind of scary when you look at them. Derek Carr, he's a top 12 quarterback, could be like a borderline top 5 quarterback at times throughout his career. They have
At least on a week to
There
week
was one
basis.
time,
Yeah. They have a top receiver, but maybe the best receiver in the league.
Mm-hmm.
They have at times maybe the best tight end in the league. They have at times maybe the best slot receiver in the league. And it's like, oh my God. And then of course they got an Alabama running back, which I can respect. They got a lot of pieces, but their parts just aren't as good. There's some, you put 24 points up, you're going to win this game.
I wonder what the common denominator between about making the parts and the sum come together are.
Head coach, maybe?
Yes.
Josh McDaniels is on a really bad streak as a head coach. I think in the past 2 seasons, including this year when he's been a head coach, he is 3-12. And if we go back to the previous year, after his 6-0 start, what is he, like 5?
Well, I was going to say his last 8 plus 3
5
games.
20, I think.
Okay. Oh, right, because then there was the whole next season. I forgot about that season.
Since his
Yep.
6-0 start, he's 5-20.
Yep.
5-20.
Yikes!
tough.
That's terrible.
Yikes!
Yeah. I mean, just looking at that defense, their only good players are those edge rushers. They have
Yep.
nothing else. And I guess like Nate Hobbs is a good slot corner, but it sounds like he's not going to not play. Rock Ya-Sin, the other corner, sounds like he's not going to play. We'll see later on, but it's like they just have a pass rush.
Yep.
You should be able to run up the middle. You should be able to throw the ball wherever you want. Everything's lining up for this to be the big game for the offense.
All right, let's hit this next one because I think we'll probably get into more offense. Oh, and as Charlie 3, when we're pulling up, says, hit the like button, people. We'd really appreciate that.
Yes.
If you smash the like button, we got a lot of you guys listening. If all of you guys and girls out there hit it, it'll really help us out.
It
So
will.
please do that. We
Also,
really appreciate
everyone
it.
understood the assignment yesterday.
Yeah,
here, so.
props to all
Oh,
of you.
true,
Thank you
yep.
so much.
Thanks, guys. All right, next one.
Work
on the
them over.
Work them over. The way that you beat this defense, and there's plenty of ways, but a lot of it has to do with their linebackers. You can kind of do whatever you want to them, and
Love that.
it starts with, of course, running the ball, right? So you got to get that run started, but counters, those sort of things, are really successful against these linebackers, and all of that sets up to work work them over with the over, meaning the over route. This is a route that was an absolute staple of the Broncos offense in training camp. And it was one of the big plays that they were just hitting every single day. And this week it should be really, really open. Get the run working with Javante, suck them in with a play action fake, bring Jerry or Cortland or Kendall Hinton, for all I care, over the back of those linebackers and just let Russ float it right over them. This was something that the Titans just did at will once they started feeling like they needed to commit a little sooner to stop Derrick Henry. Obviously, Derrick Henry's a different beast, and it was almost so easy for them that I stopped watching the game because I was like, I got to see if this is happening in other games or if it's just because they're trying so hard with Derrick Henry. And it's just those linebackers, I would call them like nippy. They'll just nip on whatever you want them to, and that should be enough to get them.
So give them the little treats so that they bite up. And then the chunk plays. Ryan, that's what I love hearing, a way to get easy chunk plays. And then that's just a great way to get Russ cooking, get the offense moving, and then get to those 24 points.
Absolutely.
All right, next one is Jumpstart Jerry.
You need to get something out of Jerry Jeudy. You just have to. Like if you're trying to put up big offensive numbers, your number 2 receiver needs to at least be a part of that somehow. You know, you talk about how the passing game could be incredible. Again, like if you get 115 yards from Sutton, you get 50 from Albert O, like that's halfway to where you need to be. And you need Jerry to be a big piece this week. First of all, he missed a lot of that second game with the injury. He didn't do much on Sunday. And the first game, he had that one really big play. Now, maybe Jerry's just a big play guy. Maybe what he does is gives you, the 60-yarder, 40-yarder, whatever, every couple weeks that kind of keeps his numbers up. That's how he gets over 1,000. But you really do need to get something out of him this week, whether it's the 8 catches for 100 yards or whether it's just another big play. He's not looking good right now, and that can't be the case the rest of the way.
Well, I mean, to your point, Hank, Javante Williams is the Broncos' second leading receiver in terms of catches and targets. I get that he's a safety route for Russell Wilson, and I like that he's using that instead of just throwing the ball away or making bad decisions. But that's not sustainable for an entire season. For Russ's next 5 years here is just using the check down.
Yep.
After Cortland's covered, go to the check down. After Cortland's covered, go to the check down. And Jerry Jeudy is a way that they could get that working.
To be fair, it might really work this week with Javonte because
Yeah.
Derrick Henry was killing them with this. So basically, you send all those routes out there, the linebackers go screaming after him. Derrick Henry turns around at 3 yards, and there's no one between him and the sticks. So it might be something you want to get Javonte 7-8 catches this week.
And that's totally fine. And I didn't mind the 11 catches against the Seahawks at all. But just when you consistently see that, that's when
Yes.
you're like, oh, okay, let's do something a little more. But week by week, totally fine. It's a good point. All right, next one is the Surtain Shadow.
One of the reasons why I think that the Raiders offense has not been clicking is because they are not getting the ball to Davante Adams in easy ways. They're really trying hard to get it to him with a lot of pre-cooked stuff. Henry mentioned it yesterday. The first touch he had of the game last week was a jet sweep. It gets blown up for -4. The next time he touched the ball after that was on a throwback pass from Josh Jacobs back to Derek Carr, then to Davante Adams coming across the middle. And it's like they're just desperate to get him involved. Well, you can kill those hopes early and often by letting Pat Surtain follow him around. This is not a lot of times we talk about this. It's not as black and white as you can just do it on every play, but you can get close. And if I were the Broncos, I would want him following Davante Adams around because you essentially just take this is the luxury you now in the world you now live in. You can just decide we will not get beat by Davante Adams today, and then you just put Pat on him, and you won't.
I completely agree. And I would love to see that. So what's a successful game? Let's say Surtain is on Davante Adams for most of the game. What are you coming away from the game saying that was a good performance? Surtain did his job.
I want to look at what Davante Adams has done week by week.
Davante's
Yeah.
averaging about 60 yards a game.
But it was 48 week 2 and 12 this week.
Yep.
He just had the big week 1.
Yep, when he was targeted 17 times in week 1.
I think I would say, wow, it's crazy to say this about Davante Adams. Maybe I'm underselling it, but sub 50 would be like you clamped him.
I think if it's honestly 60, 70,
Yeah.
I'm saying you did a good job now. Clamping is under 50. And if he does anything like he did to DK, and Davante's a better wide receiver than DK, but hold him to, he can have 10 catches, but if it's for 38 yards, I'm like, oh my gosh, job well done. And that's kind of something Nathaniel Hackett pointed to today was how they want to address this offense is they know that Darren Waller and Davante Adams and Hunter Renfrow, if he plays, are going to catch passes. It's about just limiting those and then tackling right away. So he said they have to limit explosives. And so I think that's the way we're going to see it be played. I think it's going to be very similar to Seattle in terms of we're going to be sitting there watching the game saying, why are these guys so far off? Why are you allowing the 40-yard catches? Well, it's so that they don't allow the 70-yard touchdown because if they make Derek Carr go all the way down the field, in the past, Derek Carr's been able to do that. So far, I think he is at 4 or 5 interceptions. I think he's at 4 interceptions this year so far. He's not gelling with Josh McDaniels yet.
Yeah, and I feel like Josh McDaniels, especially last week, outsmarted himself, which shouldn't be surprising to anyone. But it almost felt like actually in the mostly last week, that he said okay, they're going to be so focused on Davante Adams and Darren Waller. Let's get Mac Hollins and Foster Moreau going. And it's just no. You want those guys to be auxiliary pieces, but there was a lot of plays that were drawn up for especially Foster Moreau, and it was I understand seeing a matchup and wanting to exploit it, but you're just not going to be able to ride him to a win.
So much so that Davante Adams isn't even their leading receiver.
No.
Which is crazy.
They've just put him in the slot, which is wild. Obviously, it's a thing he can do, but you just need to give him his own half of the field. If you want to get him going, you just put nobody else on that side of the field, get him one-on-one coverage, and let him get open. It's none of this flood stuff or crossers or mesh. Just let him go be him. I will say, I would be really surprised if Surtain follows him around. That's just not how this defense has run in the past. They just want to keep him on his right side, keep his footwork the same on every play, keep the pass off the same so that he's always using his hips the same way. The reads are always the exact same. It's like playing left tackle and switching to right tackle. And I'm not sure I'd necessarily agree, but I do think that they're just going to stick with him on the right side. And
They did do
that's
it a lot in the Seattle game, though.
And that's what
Are you
gives
sure?
me belief
I mean,
that they're going to do it.
That's at least what it felt like.
Okay.
Because I think Surtain was in coverage on most of his targets. Maybe
I
There
thought
was,
so.
yeah.
Maybe
it was
the Seahawks,
most for sure.
Maybe the Seahawks just said we'll line it, we'll take our chances, which is really dumb. But
Really dumb. Maybe Josh McDaniels outsmarts himself and does the exact same thing. He's like, nope, we'll just have Davante just beat Pat on that side.
yeah, and I saw Pat move around a little bit last week. But you're right, Henry. And a lot of coaches are against doing this. To me, it's just one of those things where, like, don't let them break out of this little slump they're in right now with Davante Adams, because that could be a key to open this offense up.
Yeah, 100%. Don't let Derek Carr get hot with Davante. All right, the next one coming in is ball security, is job security. And yeah, you could say this about every single game courtesy of Brock Osweiler, but specifically why in this game is, I touched on it earlier, Derek Carr is a guy that's typically fairly good with the ball. He has not been like that this year with the Raiders. And if you win that, you're going to win it, because the Raiders, one, haven't won the turnover battle so far this year, and they haven't won a game. Many of their games have come down to that. In fact, the Cardinals game, what did that come down to? In overtime, a fumble, which went the other way for touchdown. Game over. Waller dropped a touchdown. Not only dropped a touchdown, went right through his hands against the Titans when they were coming back, but then it turned into an interception. And then in the first game, Derek Carr had 3 interceptions. So you're talking about huge turnover plays that very much impacted the bottom line for the Raiders. And the Raiders are showing right now that their margin for turnover isn't that good, which doesn't surprise us. We kind of thought they would be a 500-ish team. And so if you win this one, it's going to be pretty difficult for them to overcome that.
Yep. Henry, did you find anything on?
It's about 2-1. But I thought it was a lot more than that.
Okay.
What do you mean 2-1?
2 on the right side to 1 on the left side.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. So 2/3 of his time is on the right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't think it was more than that, though. I'm surprised they're moving him more.
I hope that they have him follow him, and especially because he seems elite. He seems like, if not the best cornerback in the league, a top 3 guy right now. And if you are that, your footwork and everything should be good enough to be able to move sides.
Yeah, I look at it, and it's not 1-to-1, but I kind of look at it like offense. Deebo Samuel would be a good example of a guy who's so talented that you just consistently move him around because he's a weapon, and you want to use him in all these different ways. I kind of look at Pat Surtain the same way, as like, you can use him in so many different ways. He's a weapon for you on defense. Use him as such.
Right. Yeah, and he certainly is. All right, I think we got one more here, and it is Jam Jacobs.
Yeah. You can't let them get running. They've struggled to run the ball so far. Like Josh Jacobs, that first game of the preseason, that Hall of Fame game, he was just destroying those backups. There was no reason for him to be in that game, but he was running better than he ever had. And you obviously
No one
don't
that
read
he was
anything
running
into
by
that.
is going to stay in Canton. I'll tell you that.
Definitely not. Definitely not. But yeah, I mean, if they can start running the ball, then that just opens things up for them. And there's no reason that they should be able to. And that's why it'd be even more concerning. You don't know if DJ Jones is going to be back, but Mike Purcell has been so good in the middle of that line. Deshaun Williams has been so good. Josie, when he came back, was good. They should be just fine. But if you start giving up big gainers in the running game, I mean, we saw it against the 49ers. The one touchdown drive, there was the 37-yard run, and all of a sudden that's what you're working with. So keeping that all clamped down back there, not letting them finally break out, that's really important.
And Josh Jacobs, is not like he's been bad. He's averaging 4.6 yards per attempt. But Josh McDaniels is just, he's getting too much into Derek Carr and trying to do too much through the air. So you really hope that you limit that, and that the Raiders honestly limit themselves from doing that.
Totally.
But I agree with you, Henry. Even if the Raiders do try to do that, you should be able to stop them.
You should be just fine.
Yep. But that would be a great thing for the Raiders on how to beat the Broncos, is don't let Bradley Chubb and Randy Gregory just pin their ears back, and don't let Pat Surtain have the opportunity to take down one side of the field. They should run the ball, and they should try to stick to the run as much as they can.
I'm super encouraged by how the Broncos did against the 49ers against the run. Every game in the NFL really does kind of exist in a vacuum, but that told me, like, okay, even the best run designer in the NFL isn't doing a great job of running by these guys.
Yeah, that's a really good point. You just face the toughest test. This should be one of the easier ones.
Yep. All right, before we move on, I want to give a shout out to Mile High City Sliders. You could go for a couple slide pieces right now. You got to check them out. Jalapeno popper, drunken meatball, Greek. They've got vegetarian options. They've got chips with every meal. They've got shoelace or shoestring fries, whatever you want to go with. Delicious. So check out our friends over at Mile High City Sliders, and you can have them at your event as well. Just call 720-375-3464 and ask for our guy, Dominic.
Absolutely. And check out DraftKings Sportsbook tomorrow night. They're giving everyone, not just new customers, they're giving everyone the opportunity to win their money line bet if on the Dolphins and Bengals Thursday night game. You choose money line for either of those teams, and that team goes up by 7 points at any time in the game. You win your bet right there. I'm going to go with the Dolphins because that's where the money's at. You get plus 150 on the money line.
Really?
Yes, plus 150 for the 3-0 Dolphins, who Tua is questionable. I expect Tua to play. All it takes, though, even if it's Teddy in there, all it takes is a slant, a 10-yard pass to Tyreek Hill or Jalen Waddle. They explode for a touchdown. You're up 7 in the first. Boom, you're good.
Also, Shanahan tree known for the script. So even if you're throwing Teddy out there to start the game, you're going to have Mike McDaniel is going to have 15 plays that he believes Teddy Bridgewater will be at his best on.
Man, it's a great point. And Mike McDaniel, trust in Mike McDaniel. I mean, he's done nothing to not deserve it. And so you can get that over at DraftKings Sportsbook. I believe for some people, they're giving that boost up to $250 if you really want to cash in. Of course, you can do it for any amount you want, though. And for new customers, they're giving you an opportunity to get $200 in your account. All you have to do is place a $5 money line bet on any NFL team, and you win $200 in free bets right away, which then you can use on Thursday Night Football. So get into the action now. Head to the App Store now. Download the top-rated DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use promo code DNVR when you sign up. That's code DNVR over at DraftKings Sportsbook. Terms and eligibility restrictions apply. See our show notes for details.
Dolphins actually up to plus 170 now.
Yeah.
Which I had to check to make sure there was no news on Tua.
Is the line still 3.5, or has that moved as well?
It is now 4.
Oh, man.
I'm going to get in on this now. Because of what we just talked about, even if Tua doesn't play, I like being on the underdog in these. And it's not as if the Bengals have shown themselves to be some sort of scary force.
Absolutely not. And it's not like they haven't lost to a backup quarterback this year either.
That's true.
Henry's guy, Cooper Rush, got him 2 weeks ago.
Cooper Rush, he can play.
I think I'm in on the Dolphins. I'm terrified, though. Like, I just can't imagine the Dolphins being 4-0.
It's
Like,
true.
that just feels so wrong.
However,
What if I
There's
told
no
you the
way.
Dolphins once went undefeated?
That was a very long time ago.
not even that extreme. What if 1 week ago I told you the Dolphins were going to play the Bills to go from 2-0 to 3-0? That's got to be a more difficult game than this one.
That is true. That is true. You got to take the Dolphins with the plus 170. But
I think, in fact, we're all placing the bet right now. I
I'm
see
in.
the other two guys have their half out.
Oh, I hate it. I hate it so much.
I forgot to use my one on the Broncos, which you only need to be up by 1 point.
But it didn't matter.
Yeah, it didn't
Okay.
matter.
Yeah.
Because I used my boost on it. So, anyways, that's life at DraftKings. There's always another button to
There's
press
so much. Yeah,
to
exactly.
help you out.
All right, should we hop into the comments now?
Let's do it. Any super chats to get to? Oh, we got a few. Let's
Ooh,
go.
here we go.
All right. First one from Luke. Hey, guys. I get the frustration with Russ's play in the first 3 games, but Broncos country needs to remember what it was like to have no hope that the offense could turn it around. No more carousel, for sure. And, again, I know, Zach, you especially don't like the comp.
Yeah.
But even through 3 games, the numbers look similar to what Peyton was doing.
Yeah, I hate the comp, like you said, but I love what Luke said.
You want to know what game got Peyton started?
Against the Raiders,
Week
right?
4 against the Raiders, 37-6.
Woo. What were Peyton's stats?
Very good.
Yeah. Probably many touchdowns, couple hundred yards.
Yeah, I think it was at 300 yards, 3 tuds.
That's very impressive. But I really do like this point from Luke, which is something that I haven't thought about, because typically it is brought back to like, well, Peyton started like this. Yeah, there was no hope after bad starts or when a team started to struggle. There's still a lot of hope here for a team that started well. Brian Parra, our guy, says, hey, fellas, Zach, the new face of the Denver Broncos? I think I got a long way to go.
Well, I think
that?
so. A to Z.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
Sure.
Yep.
There you go.
I love you, Brian.
Another super chat from Luke, just tossing us some cash.
Let's
Thanks,
go.
dude.
Love it.
And Brandon Shanahan, straight out of the Shanahan tree.
Yeah.
I wanted to say I'm glad the schedule makers gave the Broncos an easier runway, because if we had the same schedule as the Raiders to start the year, they could easily be the 0-3 team and in full panic mode.
I think they would have won one of those games, but absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
it wasn't that hard.
The Cardinals, that's a game
Yeah.
that we have the Broncos winning. The Titans, that may now be a game that we switch to having the Broncos winning.
Yep.
And then who did they play?
The
Who am I
Chargers.
missing? And the Chargers.
Yeah,
We had them going 1-1 against the Chargers when the Chargers were fully healthy.
Yeah.
for sure. So
But 0-3 was on the table. Especially, I mean, the Cardinals haven't lived up to the hype. Neither the Titans. So that does change things.
Yeah, exactly.
Preseason, though,
I mean,
0-3
we
would
had
be on
them
the table. I would
0-5,
have
I'm
won
pretty
them.
sure. I don't know
Exactly.
who they play in week 6.
Exactly.
Broncos get this one this week. We might end up going back and finding that clip.
It's very true.
Yeah.
Harrison White said, some idea. Check out Will Griggs on fire. Your defense is terrified, but make it Russ is instead.
Oh, that's one. That's been repurposed for Jokic.
Right.
Huh.
First from some of the Serbian fans.
Huh.
So there we go. Okay, there we go.
love it.
There's one of our songs.
Oh, yes, I see.
Yeah.
There we go. Great idea there.
Joker's on fire. Your defense is terrified. Something along those lines.
Yeah.
They
Yes,
do
I
that
do
in
with
Serbia?
Russ. I love
They don't
it.
speak English there, though.
Yeah, but they like repurposed it. Well, they do. I mean, yeah.
Okay.
Most of the country speaks English. We just aren't the same, where we speak everyone else's language.
Yeah,
It's
we should.
unfortunate here. Okay, well, should we hop into the comments on the website? First one coming in from the Count. He says, the 1980s. My grandparents once showed up unannounced with a cockatoo and promptly left us with the beast in our cage, in our care. The bird could swear like Alex Gibbs and would do so mostly in the dead of night while we tried to slumber. One day during a playoff game, I punctured my waterbed with a letter opener on accident. I never understood who that guy on the sidelines during the 2015 season was with the really long blonde hair. The bird lives until this day and doesn't give a bleep. Love, the Count.
I love it.
You're following
It's
these.
so
You're
good.
putting everything together?
Oh, yeah. I think so, at
Because
least.
there's a deeper meaning, I think.
Is there?
Isn't there always with poets?
There is.
I mean, though, yesterday there was. Yesterday there was.
Read between the lines.
That's great, the Count. We love it.
Butch Cassidy says, fellas, it's been a hot second since I commented, but I've been working my tail off. And now it's official. My girlfriend and I will be crossing the pond for the London game, and we have our tickets for the tailgate. So pumped I could run through a wall.
Let's go.
As for my question, if this Broncos team was a cocktail, what would be in it? Please drink responsibly. Go Broncos, go DNVR. Hashtag I'm not afraid of a bar.
I thought I was going to say a cockatoo.
I forgot. I saw the I'm not afraid of a bar guy at the game on Sunday.
Wow.
But he was completely sober and didn't say any nonsense.
Oh, man. Bummer.
I know. But notably, has not come to the bar. Might be lying about being afraid.
Wow.
Yes. The first thing that pops in my head is a little sweet and sour with this Broncos team.
You could do like a sour mix. Mm-hmm. So like whiskey sour mix with some grenadine.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
It's
Okay.
gonna be a lot of flavors.
That will be a lot of flavor. Some good, some maybe not as good for someone that isn't the biggest fan of whiskey.
I used to enjoy a whiskey sour before heartburn became a thing for me.
Yeah, sweetness.
Well, it's like pure lime juice and lemon juice.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think that's what it is. I think that's what it is for this team.
I'm tempted.
With a little bit of heartburn.
Maybe I'm hating on Russ, but I might go non-alcoholic.
Wow.
I think this team might be more of a like a Shirley Temple. Very good drink, but just like it's definitely not a tequila team, right?
I mean, I think you're onto something.
Yeah.
And if you're at a bar and you get a Shirley Temple with your friends, you're probably gonna be poked at a little bit. And with Russ, he's being poked at a little bit. Yeah, I see it, Hank.
The
I haven't had a
defense.
Shirley Temple in years.
Oh,
Those
they're
slap.
so
That's
good.
so good. We might need to go
I
down
had
for
an
some Shirley
alcoholic
Temples.
Shirley Temple the other day.
That
Nice.
sounds
Oh.
really good. A Roy Rogers, where it's Coke instead
Oh,
of Sprite.
You mean a cherry Coke?
No, Roy Rogers, because it's even sweeter.
It is.
Yes.
It is. Yeah. I went to an all-inclusive resort when I was a kid, and I just ordered like 100 of those.
Oh my gosh, that's the life. That's better than an all-inclusive resort with alcohol.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, no, but sure.
Chico Bean says, "What's up, guys? Haven't commented since the Monday night game at Seattle. I had a hell of a weekend. My cousin and I had bet on the Niners and Broncos game, and I came away with $100 and a new jersey.
Wow.
I was
Hell
hoping to
yeah.
get a PS2 Color Rush jersey. What do you guys think I should get?"
That's it.
Yeah, I completely agree. Anyways, I'll be flying in from Omaha next Tuesday for the Thursday night game, which is also my birthday. P.S. Last time the Broncos played on my birthday, Manning faked all of us out in that bootleg keeper versus Dallas in 2013.
There you go.
They relived that on the
Wow.
Manning cast
So
this
we'll
week.
see you at the tailgate.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
In the PS2 jersey, hopefully.
Hell yeah. All right, next one from Broncos 502. Guys, I don't have a good feeling about this week. Typical Denver Raiders trap game where the Raiders embarrass the Broncos. As much as I'd love to call it a dub, I don't see it happening. Tell me why I'm wrong. I mean, you're
Can't until
going
after the
off of
game.
vibes, but all of the evidence would suggest that the Raiders aren't going to blow out the Broncos.
I mean, it's been what, like 6 in a row losses in Vegas, though.
Who are those quarterbacks?
Oh, that's true. That's true. But I mean, there's a little evidence there.
Sure.
If
that's
we're doing
fine.
like the Russ Sunday
why-
night football thing.
Why would we call it a rivalry game? Can never be a trap game.
True.
This feels not a trap game, but this is a game where one team is extremely desperate. Look, the Broncos win over the 49ers was a big win. It could be a game where you kind of take a step back and take a deep breath in. You're like, okay, we're in this. We're fine. Winning record, top of the AFC West. I'm not saying that's what's happening, but you could see that game being that. And for the Raiders, this is the season right here. They win. It's still tough for them to get back in, but they have a shot. And isn't there a saying like you can't replicate desperation or something like that? I think it's in Star Wars.
Same person who said hope is not good.
Yeah, and the Broncos just can't replicate that feeling. Now, here's why that could be all wrong: is Josh McDaniels if the team's already given up on him.
Man, yeah, I shared an old story of Josh McDaniels, and if he's still acting like that, you can go read it on my Twitter. It's kind of long, which is why I'm not telling it. If he's still acting like that, it wouldn't surprise me at all. And like the fact people legitimately think that he's already on the hot seat.
Yeah, which is wild.
And yeah, billionaire owners can do whatever they want, so
Yeah.
it's very possible. I personally love the fact that Nathaniel Hackett didn't get off to the start that he wanted to get to. He didn't meet with Greg Penner.
No.
He met with George Payton.
And like
that's the way it's supposed to work in football.
And like in a publicly shaming way where why is this press conference after the game being held up? Where's Josh McDaniels?
Yeah.
Oh, he's meeting with Mark Davis right now. If the Broncos would have done this, if Greg Penner would have sat down and it was a very serious meeting, my guess is it would have happened on Monday morning when it doesn't impact any media availabilities where that never gets out.
Yep.
Yeah,
That's
or
not the Raider way.
him and Mark Davis were just comparing like their favorite torture tactics or something.
Wow, favorite haircuts?
Definitely not that. Next one from The Matrix. Hey, boys, quick question. Why do you guys think part of our fan base has turned so quickly on Hackett and Russ after some of the early season struggles? The past half decade, even though the football product was worse, in my opinion, the fan base didn't feel as divided, minus Teddy and Drew. Now we have real hope at this year for playoff games, and the sky is falling. Interested in your theories. Are Broncos fans entitled? Anywho, love y'all. Can't wait for the Madden League to pick back up. Broncos country, let's ride. I think this is an interesting question, and I really think it's the what's the word I'm looking for? Shrapnel from the last 6 years spilling over into this year and causing this. Everyone is so on edge and so hungry for everything to go right again that we kind of looked past the growing part. And we're just like, Broncos got a quarterback, we're good to go. And this was not happening with Peyton Manning. Again, not comparing the two quarterbacks. But when Peyton Manning got off to this slow start, of course there was, concerns and questions, but people were still on the whole, like, defending Peyton and essentially saying, like, just wait, he's going to get it figured out. He needs time in this offense. This isn't happening now, and I really think it's just because of the overall anxiety over the Broncos not being good for so long.
And I think it's the first 2 weeks were so much of a flashback to what we've seen the past few years, kind of like what you're saying, Ryan. But also, we have to be honest about how those first 2 weeks looked. Yes, the Broncos were moving the ball up and down the field, but that decision at the end of the game, the use of the timeouts, and then especially that Texans week, that in ways was worse than the past few years. And I think that because of what you said about the past, I think that just really had people freaking out. When Nathaniel Hackett did everything pretty much right this past week, we haven't seen people freaking out like that.
Yep. And I think the last piece, like those are the bigger pieces, but there is a very large portion of the fan base there's a lot more casual and isn't, reading the news every day about the Broncos and like listening to the podcast and stuff. And those people probably saw some of the national things that were being said about Hackett and about Russ and saw that everybody's making fun of them. And if that's the first thing that gets into your brain, then that takes you that way too. But that's
true.
A smaller piece.
Narratives are written and they're very hard to unwrite.
It's really true. And in order to get more local people listening to us, hit us with a thumbs up.
Yes.
We really appreciate it. It helps It helps get rid of these false narratives out there.
So true.
There you go. Ray Stark says, "Hey fellas, how's it going? My wife and I are looking at London tailgate packages. From what I can tell, there's not appear to purchase just the double-decker tour and the tailgate. Is there not going to be any way to mix and match? Sorry if this is the wrong place to ask. Let's go Broncos. Can't wait to see y'all in London." We can work with people on this kind of stuff. The main thing is that there is a limited amount of tickets for the bus. So the people who buy that full package obviously need to be able to go on the bus. But Ray, shoot me an email. Ryan at thednvr.com and we can discuss.
You're an email guy now, huh?
Wow.
I don't want to
Making
be
moves.
He's
sometimes I
growing
have
up.
to
Russ,
moves.
Ryan.
be. Did a spreadsheet.
Yeah, wow.
Couple spreadsheets
Look
last
at what
few
30
days.
years
What
old
the
will do
hell?
to you.
Yeah, I know. It's
Wow.
terrible. Don't anyone who's so like every time you're about to turn a new decade, everyone says, "Oh, it's the best. It's the best one." But they were right, about like your teens. Those were great. Then when people are like, "Oh, your 20s," those are the best. They were right about that. Everyone who says 30s is best, wrong.
Just make it your
Wow.
best, Ryan. I don't think you're trying hard enough.
Yeah, we're about to go to London. 30
Yeah.
stars could be
Yeah.
cool.
You get to do cool
It's
things,
true.
but there's just too many other negatives.
Oh, no.
Yeah, Henry, watch out.
Oh, I've got a long way to go.
Late
You
20s.
got like 4 years.
late
5
tw-
years.
Late 20s are goated.
You're only
Live up every
25.
second.
Wow.
Yeah.
I
Melvin-
really thought you were 26.
Oh, no.
Young pup.
The youngest pup. I don't even know what to say.
Melvin Bronco says, "My boys, lake fishing equals quiet, less fish. River fishing equals quiet, best enjoyed with cold beers and relaxing. And ocean fishing equals sharks, smelly bait, fish guts, waves." He'll pass on that one. Listen to the Ringers Rewatchables episode on Boogie Nights. Turned out...
Boogie Nights.
Boogie Nights. Did I say that
You
weird?
said boogie nights.
Boogie Nights. Boogie Nights. Turned it off and unfollowed the second Bill Simmons made a joke about Hackett. Nobody, and I mean nobody, can talk smack about our coach. Cheers.
My big question, do fish in the river not have guts?
Well,
like, do they just not have guts there?
that's a good
Crazy
question.
poll here. I don't know if you guys saw the poll results.
I haven't.
There are 2 hours left, so if my people want to come through for me,
Let's change some things here.
39% lake, 40% ocean, 21% river. But my spin on this, 60% of people prefer freshwater to saltwater.
Yeah, you always got to spin with these polls. You always find a way to add things up.
I mean, river is taking away from my lake voters.
Did you see Dan in the Madden chat bashing oceans this morning?
Yes.
He's from England. That's the worst place. That's like saying, like,
Wait.
oh, I don't like rivers. Well, you just went to the muddy, dried up thing that goes through Denver. Like, the ocean in England? Nobody even cares about that.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
They've got some pretty cliffs there.
Yeah.
Nobody wants a cliff. Like, I mean, there's nothing wrong with the cliff, I guess, but you're not going somewhere for the cliffs.
We're not starting a cliff argument here now. We're not getting into that.
I love how balanced this is.
It blows my
Rivers
mind.
did take a pretty tough hit.
I just don't understand.
I'm at the exact same point as you guys. I just don't understand how oceans isn't number one for everyone.
Because oceans are overrated.
No, they're just rated, as you would say. They're just rated.
They're overrated. Seeing the ocean is like 10 times better than using it for anything.
Well, the best thing ever is to just sit and look out at an ocean and just not see anything.
Yeah, it's a nice thing.
Yeah, it's the best.
You can do that in Salt Lake if you want.
No, you can't, because on the other side is just America still.
You go to Chicago, you can't see Michigan on the other side.
But it's Michigan on the other side.
Detroit over there.
Yeah, it's
The
not-
ocean's just
and
questions.
It's not like a mermaid land.
Exactly.
I will say that the thing that you do in the ocean is like you kind of like squat and like kind of waddle in till it's like up to your like chest because you're scared, and then the waves keep coming. You try to
the
like
waves are
stay in the same
best.
place.
Waves are the best.
The waves are nice, but I do understand how that could be seen as not such a fun experience.
A still body of water like a lake.
So
no,
great.
I mean,
Oh my
not for me.
God.
Give me a river. You just float on down. It's incredible. Fly fishing.
There's probably like something in this about us. Like
I think so.
What
Maybe.
body of water you choose says something about
I'm
you.
sure we can find it. These are 3 big ones.
Wow.
All
So
right.
we should write that. Next on like thedmvr.com. What does your favorite body of water say about
Take
you?
this quiz.
Take this quiz to find out.
And the quiz is you just pick one of our faces, and then that's who you are.
It's like you're a lake guy. You just like to sit around and chill. Choose all the sounds yourself. No,
Answer emails.
This could be a thing. I don't like too much background noise.
Even though you have to have it to sleep. I don't get that.
Yeah, but that's like talking. It's the white noise that gets
you
me.
don't like white noise.
No. Like sometimes just turning the fan on when I'm cooking, I can only handle it for like 10 minutes before I just have to turn it off. It's like
Wow.
You should talk to somebody.
all sound
Like
like
maybe this counts.
so like you go to a lake, you just all the sounds are just the sounds. Like there's no like whoosh going constantly.
See, I love the shh at an ocean.
See, we're learning about ourselves right now. All right, next one.
Wow.
Next one is from
Broncaholic, I believe, says, "Hey guys, thanks for the breakdown of why Melvin was getting so much playing time in the second half on Sunday Night Football. Really enjoyed all your thoughts. Here's my biggest problem with Gordon and why I totally agree with Bronco and SD to trade him for wide receiver depth or just draft pick depth. Heck, a conditional draft pick. Just want him out of Denver at this point. He fumbles whenever we play a good team, and then whenever he has been asked about it, he always just says something to the effect, well, just desperate to make a play out there, or how often do you practice that situation? The last thing I want is for Javante to pick up that attitude and think that's okay. But Melvin is not getting any less snaps after fumbling. It's been the opposite. They're giving him more. If you're trying to make a play, great. But if you do that and can't keep the ball, is it really worth it? Just frustrates the hell out of me that he just constantly gets praised for being such a great running back despite this issue continuing to get worse. There's a reason nobody signed him. Ouch. And the Chargers elected to go with Eckler instead. Somebody please hold him accountable already. It will not improve if he's not going to acknowledge that it's a problem. For me, that is the biggest difference so far between Hackett and Fangio. One recognized he was struggling and took steps to improve. The other one is unemployed. Time for that to start applying at running back too. Am I way off here? I actually thought he was going to bring up something that Melvin said after the game about his fumbles this past game. He said something like, I can't do that, but we won the game, so it doesn't really matter. And I thought that was something that this commenter was really going to hate.
Yeah, something I hated. Yesterday on his Instagram story, someone on Melvin's team put out a tweet about how much better Melvin is at the goal line than Javante. And Melvin then shared that to his Instagram. And I was
One of his teammates did that?
No, someone on his personal team.
Okay.
The numbers of Melvin on the goal line versus Javante on the goal line. And then Melvin posted that, and I'm like, I get, building yourself up, but right now you're putting down your teammate.
You can't find one that's just your number.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right.
And it was out there.
Yeah.
Don't love that.
Interesting.
Yeah. That one. It's just like little things like that. A lot of just little missteps for him on top of the big missteps on the field and off a couple times,
Yep.
or at least once. I shouldn't say a couple.
And it
one
is-
big mistake off the field.
It is true that Mike Boone has looked good. Like that's kind of the kicker in all this. Where you're like, yeah, and then what happens if you get rid of Melvin? You just give everything to Javante. What if Javante goes down? Touch wood for any of that. But you still have Mike Boone.
Touched everything.
I touched everything, but like, you
Whoa.
do still have Mike Boone, so I get it. But I don't know. Like, if you don't draw the line here, where do you draw the line? That's kind of my question. Like, it's 3 fumbles in 3 games. Mm-hmm. Like, are you just gonna keep riding with him no matter what?
There has to be a line somewhere.
Really quick, speaking of Mike Boone, we know we've seen him on the field, but remember how we talked about how he should be getting snaps and touches and stuff? You guys know how many touches he has this year?
3.
I don't remember. I would say 2.
He's got 1.
And a drop.
1 catch for 2 yards and a drop.
Okay, so he's got essentially 2 targets.
But his offensive snaps have gone up. First game, 5%. Second game, 10%. Third game, 19% on offense. So they are working him in there.
Yep.
It'll be interesting to see if that goes up this week and Melvin's goes down.
I just have to imagine internally. You can't say this to the player because you can't have them thinking about it on every carry. But internally, there has to be someone saying, if he does it one more time, or we can only afford this, this whatever. Like, there has to be.
There has to be, or else you are failing the rest of your team.
And we saw it with, Isaiah McKenzie. Eventually, like, enough was enough. He's become something in Buffalo, and I'm happy for him in that regard. But the Broncos, like, couldn't keep putting him out there.
No.
There's and it's not, Melvin hasn't gotten to that level yet, although in this small sample size of this year, it is actually beyond that. But there is a certain point where you just have to say enough is enough, mercy.
What if he lost all 3 fumbles? He lost the one in week 1, which really cost him. He wouldn't have been able to lose 2 this past game because they happened on... No, were they the same drive? Yes, they were the same drive, right?
I don't think so. No,
okay,
they
well
weren't.
then he would have been able to lose 2. What if that happened? The Broncos lose this game. The fact that the ball bounced the right way is changing how you view this moving forward. It is interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I know what I would be saying. I would have said he's got to be done.
Right.
And I don't know what they would be saying internally.
Yeah.
I really don't know how a front office or coaching staff even discusses this.
Yeah.
But I assume there has to be a line at some point.
And I really defended Melvin this past year and the year before with his fumbling problems because pretty much every running back in the league fumbles.
Yep.
He's just done it more in the past, but last year he only did it once more than Javonte. 3 in 3 games, that is inexcusable.
Isaiah McKenzie had 6 in 6 games, and that wasn't even enough to get rid of him.
Wow. Okay, that's
my
not that's
goodness.
worse than I remember.
Plus, like mental errors of stepping out of or staying in bounds when he should have stepped out of bounds.
Which happened this Sunday
Yeah.
for him.
Yeah.
In the end of the first half, I believe, and in the end of the game.
Brutal.
The bright side, if
do
you want
you-
to flip things around, Isaiah McKenzie had 3 fumble recoveries in a 6-game span. In a vacuum,
There
pretty
you go.
solid.
There you go.
Last one I'll say on this. Melvin Gordon leads the NFL in fumbles since 2013. What's notable about that is Melvin Gordon came into the league in 2015.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, it's tough.
It's bad.
Yeah, it really is. And obviously his 3 fumbles leads the NFL right now.
Yes, of course.
Next one from Nathaniel Thicket says...
Among running backs.
Among
I think
running
it's tied
backs.
with quarterbacks. I think he is tied for the lead overall, too.
Okay. Who else is up there?
I'm trying to remember.
Davis Mills had 2 against the Broncos.
That's true. When Hank looks that up, I'll read this one from Nathaniel Thicket. Says, been a while since I left comments, so just wanted to stop in and let y'all know that I'm still here and listening daily, formerly Thick Fangio. I was in pack it up and call it a season mode, even coming out with the dub Sunday night. I both love and hate how listening to this pod can make me optimistic again. As someone who lives 2 hours from the ocean and my mom lives on the Gulf Coast in Florida, I almost never go, even when I'm down there. Lakes are hands down better. We should have just ended this pod before this comment.
Make sure you go vote on the poll. Still
My
got
least
2 hours.
favorite part is that nobody even brings up Rivers.
No.
Yeah.
Like nobody's even
in the
and
poll,
Riv-
21%?
Yeah,
Oh,
like at
sorry,
least say
Hank.
like, yeah, Rivers suck too. Like just acknowledge us.
I think it has to do with like a lot of people live near the ocean. A lot of people like live near lakes. But rivers, like you wouldn't say like, oh, I live near the Platte River.
Definitely not.
Not that river.
No.
Yeah.
But even you would say I live near the Potomac River. I would say there.
Potomac River is
Fun.
pretty
Like
wild.
the
Like,
most famous
like-
one in the States, though. Well, Mississippi.
yeah,
We got the Missouri up there.
their rivers are built different. Like
Yeah.
Colorado River is pretty big at certain points, but like you see the Potomac River, I'm like, that's just a moving lake.
Yeah, it's
It
huge.
is, yeah.
It's huge.
But there's only certain parts where in like a river like that you can actually do things.
Yeah.
Like, there's only certain areas where you can have a boat. There's only certain areas you
What do
can
those
swim.
areas have in common with lakes?
They
The
suck.
most still areas
Yeah.
of the river.
No, the Montana rivers are different. Montana rivers are very different.
I will say I saw my friends go on like a lake style boat, but down a river. That looked fun.
Wow.
There you go. He's giving a shout out to you, Hank.
Matt Ryan,
He sucks.
7 fumbles.
No way.
7 fumbles.
Oh my
Yep.
gosh, Randy Gregory is gonna eat in 8 days. Holy cow!
Marcus
Lord.
Mariota, Baker Mayfield both have 5. Flacco has 4.
Wow.
And then there's like that group at 3. And Melvin's the only running back
Yeah.
with 3.
So among non-quarterbacks, he leads the NFL.
Renfro also has 3.
Renfro.
He had those
wow.
2 in overtime against the Cardinals.
That's brutal. That's
Yeah.
brutal. And he may not play this week.
He didn't play last week.
So torn groin for Joey Bosa. That was the official diagnosis.
That would suck.
How is he supposed to come back fast from that? Like Brandon Staley said, he'll be back soon.
It's like week to week.
It's crazy. Meanwhile,
In,
Herbert's
like,
got
4
broken ribs. He's week to week. I think there might needs to be an investigation into the Los Angeles Chargers medical team.
Is Brandon? Oh, seriously, is Brandon Staley week for week?
Maybe.
Probably.
Halibro Surf says, my boys, the name may give it away, but open your eyes. Not you, Zach. The ocean is far superior. You can do literally anything that you can do in a lake or a river, but bigger and better plus more. Oceans allow you to surf, fish, swim, chill, listen to country music if you're into that weird shit, and drink. Rivers are second. You can row, paddle, or float and actually get somewhere. Plus,
Yes.
fly fishing is unmatched in a river. Lakes are fine and serviceable, but a clear last choice. I think this is the thing. I'm not trying to go anywhere. I'm happy where I am. That's like, that's what I want. If I'm going to a place, I want to be there.
Too boring. Too boring.
Missoula, like it's probably like a 2-hour float, hour and a half float. Just nice and simple. Everybody gets their tubes just after class. You just go float the river.
Yeah.
Wow.
Do
They
that
also
in steam-
surf in that river.
Done that in Steamboat. It's a great time.
Yeah.
Love it.
But you can even do that. Like
But-
nobody's going to the lake in that situation.
Even people that live in those areas are saying, like, haven't you been to, like, the piers in California? I'm like, yeah. Looking at the ocean is great. Just doing things in it isn't as good.
I disagree.
Also, definitely producer of the best food. That one's undebatable.
That
about
is true.
oceans.
Producer of the best food.
Like,
Yeah.
of the 3 options, the food that comes out of the ocean
Oh,
is
yeah,
better
yeah,
than the other
yeah,
ones.
yeah,
There's
of
good
course.
food in
Yeah,
rivers
easily.
and lakes, but
yeah.
got that one locked
Wait,
up.
this comment, Val likes football, says RK thinks getting older sucks, but also only likes things old people love.
This is true.
It is
He's
true.
pushing back
I only
against,
like sports.
Country music, whiskey.
Yeah, those go well with sports.
Old. Yeah.
Your takes have become old person like.
Are lakes more people? Is that more of an old person thing?
Definitely. It's
Think of
gotta
the
be.
people who go to
It's
the
gotta
ocean.
People
be.
have like lake
They're like-
houses.
All cool. They're
Yeah,
like
they're-
Baywatch.
They like sand in their pants.
Yeah, sure.
Weird shit.
Drake said, "What about a bay? That's basically an ocean lake."
I feel like a bay has to be in a lake or an ocean, though.
Bays always seem super dirty.
Yeah,
Oh.
a bay is like a dirty lake.
In
That's
the
like
ocean.
Confined. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Up in Montana, the bays are clean. All the water's clean.
Yeah,
Nothing's
Montana's just a
dirty.
really clean place because
Montana.
no one
Yeah.
lives there
Right,
to
exactly.
muck
Go
it
to
up.
the
I was gonna say the
Rivers.
Chesapeake Bay.
smells
Certain
weird.
areas that are pretty gnarly.
It smells weird.
That's just that whole half of the country.
It's true. Too many people.
Well, there's a lot of people.
A
Yeah.
lot of people. Where did we leave off?
PS2. Hey guys, great team win, but man, it's getting hard to watch. After every game, we get new questions about this offense. We still don't know what this offense is. We could have seen an offense who could move the ball at will, but had unfortunate results in the red zone. And we have seen a team that could not move the ball at all. I do believe this weekend we will see more of what we saw in week 1, but hopefully we can capitalize in the red zone. Not only is the Raiders' defense bad, but the Broncos' offensive game plan for the Seahawks would be perfect for this defense. They have trouble stopping the run and always bite on play action plays. They are very undisciplined in the screen game. I'll leave y'all this last note. Do not underestimate the Raiders. They have good pieces and have played all of their opponents close. For some reason, Josh Jacobs always seems to play the best against the Broncos. In the 5 games he's played against the Broncos, he has 468 rushing yards and 102 carries and 7 TDs.
Yeah, you hope that stops this year because then that will take pressure off of Derek Carr. That will take pressure off the offensive line, specifically those tackles. So, and The Broncos' run D should be better.
He mentioned screens. So when I was watching the Raiders game today, I started taking notes of what things work against the Raiders. And I just ended up stopping because the answer was everything. But the first one I wrote was screens. Screens were seeming to work. RPO really worked. Mesh was working. Like I literally was just like, okay, well, I'm going to write down every offensive concept.
Everything. Yep. I love it. That's great. Next one from Dan Burke says, hey guys, so I'm not personally advocating for this move. We'll see if he's personally advocating for it. But considering that the defense played well without Simmons, yes, it was against Jimmy G, who doesn't test the ball downfield.
Here we go.
And the Broncos are going to looking for draft capital in the offseason. How comfortable would you be with a Justin Simmons trade? What capital would we get for him, and what would you need to see from Stearns and Locke to make you feel okay with them as starters, assuming the Broncos don't draft or sign another player? Simmons will turn 29 in a few months and will have a pretty significant cap hit next season. George Payton knows better himself how safety play can decline. Anthony Harris looked like the best safety in the league at age 28, and 2 years later, he's on the Broncos practice squad. What do y'all think?
The question is, how comfortable would you be with a trade? I would be as comfortable as Dan Orlovsky when alone in a room with a woman.
Oh my goodness!
Which is highly
So you'd write a book about it
uncomfortable.
or an article about it at least?
Highly uncomfortable.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, I'll never forget about that. You can't. He's the leader of the defense, and so that to me is what makes him different. It's not just a good player that you would be trading. It's the guy.
I love Justin Simmons. I think you think about it now. Where I really hesitate is it's not like Kareem Jackson's going to be around forever. And then so you're not just replacing Justin Simmons, you're replacing both of those guys, and it does make me scared. But it's a safety position. If you can get, at least a first-round pick back. If you get a first and a second-round back for Justin, and then then your draft is safe again next year, do you think about it?
And the big thing is you get the cap space too.
Cap space too,
and
yeah.
that's why you there's a price for everybody.
What's the deal?
First and a second for Justin.
You definitely think about it.
Yeah,
you have to.
And so at first I'm like, no, Dan, you're crazy. But you think about it. I just. Maybe I'm too much of a fan of Justin Simmons. I think Justin Simmons is going to be like a really good player for way past just 30 or 31 years old. So I think I'm not worried about him declining in a year or two. It is a good point about how some safeties do. But Justin just plays the game differently, where I think he's going to be fine. So I don't think you're trading the next 2 years. I think you'd be trading the next 6 years of Justin.
Yeah.
If you did trade Justin, you would save a little less than $8 million next year and then $18 million the year after.
Okay. Yeah.
What are you doing with that money? You already have Russ signed.
Probably going and getting a safety.
Bradley Chubb.
Yeah. You might want. But you can sign Bradley Chubb and keep Justin Simmons.
You can, but at some point you are like the cap we talk about. You can do whatever you want, so they could do that. You're right,
Fair.
but it's a point you're going to lose something.
Yes. At some point you have to say goodbye to something. I would not advise doing it to the defensive captain.
George Payton's just not going to.
I need multiple firsts.
That was the first thing he did when he got here. The first internal move he did, the first big move was that.
Yep.
Next one from Cooking with Russ. Everything RK said is correct. That's the whole thing.
That's it. Pot's over.
Wow.
Lakes are by far the best body of water. You can't jump in the middle of the ocean because of sharks, which don't exist in lakes. Plus, the lake is by far the best place for a beer. Even though food in the oceans are far superior, you don't have to live next to the ocean to eat it. Great point.
Yeah, the food's better, so by an ocean. There you go.
Also,
that's why oceans are great to sit in a little restaurant near the beach and just look at the sunrise going down over.
Are we kind of taking all of these things into account when we're talking about them? Would you rather go on a lake vacation than an ocean vacation?
What's the lake?
You name your lake.
I don't know. It's a good question.
So I'll do it. Would you do a river vacation?
I've never been to
Colorado
Lake
River.
Tahoe or Lake Powell.
That's true. Those do look really cool.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Vacation, you're going to the ocean.
Lake Como
Italy?
looks
Lake Como,
incredible.
So yeah, I'll take the lake vacation.
Okay.
I've done plenty of ocean.
No. Also, I don't want to hear any argument about sharks. Like
Why?
it's not. The shark does not factor into this conversation at all.
Maybe for you.
I think it definitely.
People
The
have
creatures of the
feelings.
ocean definitely factor
No,
in.
I mean, what about the creatures around a lake? You're more likely to
true.
get eaten by a bear at a lake than you are by a shark in the
that's-
ocean.
Yeah, but
That's
you're
a
really
great
likely to get
point.
some, like, pretty, like, out of all of the things, pretty likely to get stung by a jellyfish more than any of the other ones.
Being stung by a jellyfish isn't that bad,
Oh,
but
I'm
you could
so
also
scared
be
of
like
that.
attacked by an eel or, some
Attacked by an eel.
What I-
Classic attacked by eel
a
stories that
barracuda.
happen.
Okay,
a pit of
we can't
piranhas.
just name everything
okay,
in the ocean.
But also in like a lake, unless you have a boat, which not everyone does, you're not just going into the middle of the lake and being dropped. Like
Yeah.
you get to enjoy the ocean on the beach and in the shore,
Totally.
not just being dropped in the middle of nowhere and having to float to stay alive.
That's my.
300-foot waves. It's all
Yes,
dark.
Exactly.
I just, when you go in the ocean and you're walking in, I love the feeling of the sand, but then you get like seaweed, you get stuff touching you, you're like, oh God, what is it? Is
it's
it a
just all
jellyfish?
pokey rocks and weird
Well,
shit in
my
the
goal,
lakes.
ideal is when you're in a lake in a boat and you just get to go into.
Someone said
like,
they
the-
don't like the slimy bottom of the lake. I think I love that.
Oh.
Don't be weird. Also, swimmer's
Like
itch.
when there's like that like
Nobody's
lake
brought up
mud,
swimmer's
like,
itch.
What is that?
You get in the lake, you wind up with a rash.
hasn't happened to me.
It's terrible.
Not like the like algae on rocks. I don't like that. I like when there's like clay on the bottom of the lake.
Oh,
I don't know
That
if I've
could
been
be
to a clay
weird.
lake.
We used to call it Indian clay, but I don't know if that's allowed.
I don't think that's its technical name.
Okay.
So I don't think it's allowed yet.
so the red clay.
I don't
Yes.
like
yeah,
that.
yeah,
shit.
yeah.
Huh.
When it's really, really mushy.
Yeah, it feels great on your feet.
Yeah. It's like a little, it's like you went to a spa for your feet.
100%. Last one from H-Town Bronco. I can't believe this has gone on for
I
two
know,
whole shows.
I know.
It's hard not to get negative about the Broncos based off the last 5 years and the start of this year. But one thing I've forgotten is I reminded myself of yesterday. The Broncos, by way of Russell Wilson, have the Lord Jesus Christ on their side. The Broncos can do all things through Christ who strengthens them. Here's to us finally winning close games through the great power of the Lord. Hey, it worked for Tim.
It did.
It worked for
Yes,
Tim
yes.
better than anyone ever.
Yes.
Cheers, boys. I said it in jest, but it's also very real. I can feel it. Russell's faith is the savior we all needed. Praise be to God.
Amen.
As it is.
We'll take what we can get.
God's up there
Yes,
picking
ab-
winners.
Absolutely.
Pray for points.
Nothing better than that SNL skit with Tebow.
What was the? Oh yeah.
Or it's Jesus in the locker
Yes,
room.
yes. That the
So
only
good.
way to explain that is divine intervention.
Yes. Seriously.
The
So
only
I
way.
was believing, man.
Straight up. Straight up.
What a season.
Yes, it
we
really
get through
was.
all the comments?
We
did.
did. And if you
I didn't think there was a chance.
I mean, it's been, what is it? An hour 32.
Yeah.
It's been the reg lately.
yeah,
Can't
Yeah.
plan for anything else on my schedule.
we give our fans, 50% more content than anyone else at DNVR.
It's true. There
So
we go.
true. Those
At least.
losers.
So yeah, if you believe in us, hit us with a thumbs up on your way out.
Yes.
We appreciate that. We appreciate all of you guys for tuning in. We appreciate lakes, rivers, and oceans.
We love you.
And we'll talk to you guys tomorrow.
Speak for yourself.